Good evening. This side, Rahul Magan here, is a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based out Singapore. Professionally, we are a multi-asset and multinational hedge fund. By multi asset, I mean we actively take positions in multiple asset classes like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, agriculture commodities, base metals, foreign exchange, contract for differences, equities, and gold billing. We would be adding two more, which includes daily leverage certificate DLC and factor certificates in Singapore and Switzerland. Like I repeated many times, and I would continue to repeat all the times, that we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean to say no third party. I repeat, no third party can invest capital in our fund. Treasury Consulting and our subsidiaries do not take any third party investment. Please do take a note of that. I am a great fan of Steve Jobs, and I hope that in my in person videos, you have seen the images of Steve Jobs in my office. You know, in his book, the book basically the biography of Steve Jobs, I read it almost 50, 60 times, and each time when I'm finishing the books, I am getting a lot of clarity about Steve Jobs. When he left us in October 2021, I was very sad because a great a great mind and exceptional talent left the world in a very early age. I'm sure if Steve Jobs would be here today, Apple would have been a very different company than what Apple is today. And I saw the movie made by Hollywood on Steve Jobs called, the title of the movie is Jobs. In a very first part of the movie, Steve Jobs was sitting next to a tree talking to his colleague, and a professor went by and he asked some question from Steve Jobs about the degree and knowledge. And the beautiful thing I always love about Steve Jobs is that the way he gave his answers upfront, straight upfront answers. He told his professor that degree is an act of validation. And I always remember this till the last time of my life, that degree is nothing but an act of validation. The validation to those people who believe that you have knowledge. Validation to those people who are searching knowledge because they believe knowledge lies in degrees. But unfortunately, knowledge not lies in degrees. Knowledge like live somewhere else. Knowledge is beyond degree. Like Shri Hari Vishnu, you know, the the one of the powerful Almighty, I would say, lives in Bakunt along with Mata Lakshmi. He always said that knowledge is something which cannot be traveled, which means you need million years, probably more, uncounted time to reach to the fag end of the knowledge. And even then, you might not be sure you would be able to reach the fag end or not. But unfortunately, the human being in a short age of 60, 70, probably 80 believes that he able to reach the fag end of the knowledge. When the super almighties are still learning a lot, trying to bring something improvement and so on and so forth. From the very early age in my life, from my college, rather my schooling days, I was very clear that the books which I'm reading is only an act of validation. And in 2000, somewhere in 2006 7, when I started following Steve Jobs, about my MBA days, I was very clear that this person is to the point, and this person is talking about something which we really need to understand as well as appreciate. Today, on 10th November 2022, I would like to make yet another video covering this. But before that, although Steve is not with us, but I would like to thank you, Steve Jobs, for his exceptional talent, for lot of products: iPad, iPod, iMac Airbook, iPhone, and whatnot. List is very long he made for us. I thank you, Steve Jobs, for a clarity that degree is nothing but an act of validation. And I thank you, Steve, for making us understand very, very clearly that life is beyond books, degrees, classes, and universities. My special thanks to Steve Jobs. Today, on 10th November 2022, although two videos are done and more videos are coming, guys, I always believe that this startup ecosystem, whether this is Indian startup ecosystem, whether this is American startup ecosystem, it is based on a notion that the founder is from IIMs, Indian Institute of Management, founder is from IITs, founder is from MITs, founder is from, Harvard University, and whatever you mention. In short, Eve League universities. Eve League universities are those universities which are in the top range, top 10, top 15 universities, you can say. Mr. SBF, the man who led uh, FTX crypto exchange, Sam Bankman Fried, SBF in short, I would say. This person is from MIT. And MIT is one of the beautiful, rather, Eve League in engineering. And at the age of 30, when this person reached at a fortune level of around 26 billion US dollars, you heard me very right, 26 billion US dollars, I was very clear that there is something big, big fishy which we are not being able to see. Because this is next to impossible that a person at the age of 30, only because he is holding a crypto exchange, and that too, it is not his crypto exchange. His crypto exchange is funded by Sequoia, BlackRock, Tiger Global, and other private equity or hedge funds. So it is not that the exchange which he is running is completely owned by him. It is also not like that the exchange which he used to run is having 4 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion worth of, I would say, profits, PAT, bottom line, every year. So how can that possible that the I would say the fortune reached $26 billion? He's from MIT. In India, we have many startup founders who claim to be from Eve League universities, Eve League engineering institutions. And you know what is happening? You know what is happening with them? You know that their companies, without quoting any specific name, are in losses. Their companies are in losses since inception. Their companies are firing people, cutting people, not 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 40 people, 350, 1000, 2500. 1200, 1000, 800, 700. This is how they cut people. And the interesting fact is that many of them are from Eve League universities. They are from top engineering institutions. They are from top management institution. They boast of their degrees like they did something which nobody able to do did that. On the contrary, we have many dropouts who simply exemplified the word. Like one of them is Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Larry Ellison, and many such great people who are dropouts, never attended the college, few even didn't attended the school, but exceptional talent. No words, exceptional talent. To conclude that, I would like to be very clear, and I know that after listening to these videos, few people feel angry. As always, their eyebrows would get raised. To me, it hardly matters. Guys, degree is an act of validation. It's not that I'm copying the words of Steve Jobs. Remember that if degree is about certificate, degree is about knowledge, then the world would have 700 million Steve Jobs. But unfortunately, the world, as we speak, having not a single Steve Jobs. We have seen in the last 2 to 3 years that how this startup ecosystem literally crumbled. Literally crumbled. In this video, I specifically not naming the startups, but we have seen that in India, in United States, in Europe, in Singapore, in Dubai, you just name it, guys, and these startup trembled, literally trembled, which once again, I repeat, once again proved the fact very clearly that the degrees is an act of validation. About this person, SBF, Mr. MIT, he holds his company called Alameda Research. And I'm getting articles on the internet. This is not by my side. I'm getting an article, you know, in the internet which suggesting that he transferred $4 billion, guys, $4 billion from client funds, means the funds of clients, into his research company. And here he lost it. And this is the reason, if you refer the internet today, the articles today, you would get to know he is asking, rather threatening, that would be the better word, that if I get 4 billion, I am solvent. If I get 8 billion, I am going on. Else, I am bankrupt. What a beauty. I think this is what MIT is teaching to his students, to be honest and precise. It is not a one case, two case, three case. We have seen ample of startups, in India, United States, and everywhere that they have huge degrees. And see where their companies are. See where they themselves are. That's the more important point. I am very clear on one thing. In my life, today I am 38. I'm very clear on one thing. I never appreciate media because I know that media is compromised. Media is paid. Media is, I would say, on sale. You pay the money and do what you wish to do. As simple as that. Newspapers, magazines, articles, and everything, whatever you say. The most important thing for me, which I always value, is the knowledge. And knowledge is not about degree. That's one thing which I clearly understood 10 to 12 years ago, rather 14 to 15 years ago. I understood this very clearly that Even though I'm doing my MBA, but I need to understand that I am not learning anything, rather I am only validating, which is called numbers, marks, all these things. But the point is very clear. Billions of funds, billions, like the internet is talking about, is at stake. If this MIT guy is going to get bankrupt, it hardly matters for him. The law will take his time to prosecute him, but investors' money is gone. Zero. Absolute zero. Now you need to decide yourself. You are a person who is chasing the validation, which is called degree, certificate, or you are a person who is chasing knowledge. Decide yourself. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You knew my personal number +91 9899 242 978. I repeat +91 9899 242 978. For more information about Treasury Consulting Group, who hardly bothers about degree and certificates, and still willing, God willing, it's a hedge fund, you refer our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. www.fixedincome.global. Have a great time ahead, guys. Thank you and talk soon.